This is a test. Test, test, test. I have a microphone.
Bikes with Bobby. Welcome, everybody. It's another week of Bikes with Bobby. We're changing things up a little bit. We're over here at Switchback Sports instead of out on the trail. But I want to give you guys a few helpful tips that might keep you from walking your bike all the way down from the top of the mountain. So, I'm sure you guys have mountain biked enough. Everyone's been in that situation. Something breaks, you get a flat tire, whatever goes awry, and you're stuck walking your bike all the way back down to the car. No one wants to do it. I've been there. It's not fun. So we're going to go over a handful of tools. I'd like to introduce kind of one of the brands that we carry here at Switchback Sports and some of the things that are make your life easier and help keep you away from some of those awful experiences. So go through some of the stuff. You don't need all of this while you're out riding, but I want to go through some of the things that are going to make your life easier and better. So the first thing I want to address, the first thing that everyone's experienced, everyone's had a flat tire on their bike. Whether it was riding your bike around as a kid, doing too many skids around the neighborhood, wearing through that tire, popping, hitting that curb too hard, pinch flatting your tube. We've all been there. There are numerous ways that you can get a flat tire, and there are numerous ways that you can fix it. So I want to start off going over a couple things that I tell every single person that's going out there on their rides that they need to have with them. And that is all of the tools necessary to fix a flat tire. So most modern bikes are going to be tubeless. So what that means is there's a sealant inside. We've removed the inner tube entirely. Cool thing there is we can run lower tire pressures, gives us better grip, actually decreases rolling resistance. And that sealant inside also helps avoid some of the flat tires altogether. If you run over a thorn, that liquid inside helps fill the hole. You're still riding, everyone's having a good time. With that said, sometimes the hole you get in your tire is too big for that sealant to fix. So regardless of if you have a tubeless bike, have a spare tube. It'll get you home. It's not going to have the best ride. You might not have the most traction. You're not going to have all of that protection, but it'll get you home. So have your tube, have a CO2 pump or a hand pump, whatever your flavor is, so that you can inflate it. Personally, I'm lazy, big fan of CO2. You press it on, everyone's ready to go. You're back on your bike really quick. Sometimes hand pumps take a while. You sit there pumping, and I'm lazy, like I said. Quick patch kits. You don't want to be the person that goes all the way through it, puts a new tube in there. A little bit later, you get a run over another thorn, or you forgot to remove the thorn. If you have a quick patch kit, you can at least slap that on there, get home again. The other thing I want to go over is tubeless plugs. Sometimes you puncture your tube. It's a little too big for the sealant to fix all on its own, but you're still able to plug that hole if you have a plug kit. This multi-tool here that we have from Cannondale is awesome. Has all of our Allen keys, screwdriver, all that stuff, as well as this Dynaplug tubeless kit. So right here, this is a vulcanized rubber patch with a little spike on it. Super sweet. If you run over a large thorn, tree branch, whatever, punctures the tube, you can literally just stab that in there, pull it out, it removes. That rubber tail plugs the hole. You're riding home. Everyone's having a good time. All right. Next thing we want to talk about, and the next thing that a lot of you may have experienced, is what to do when you break a chain. I'm going to start off talking about chains in general, so hopefully we don't get to that point where we're breaking chains, but we'll talk about how to fix it afterwards. So I've got a couple chains here from KMC. I've got their standard X12, and then I've got their E12 over here. Both of them work, same sizing. The E12 is specifically designed for e-bikes. I don't know if you know this, but when you add a motor to your bike, all of a sudden you're a lot stronger. You're riding faster, you're riding a little bit further, having fun. That's a lot more stress on the drivetrain itself. So KMC is actually designed a chain, designed to take that extra load, that extra stress hopefully not leave you stranded. Next thing we'll talk about is how to check your chain. See if it's ready to be replaced. Best thing you can do is bring it on by the Switchback. We've got a whole team, very friendly faces. They're happy to check your chain. We've got a tool, slots right in, tells us about how much life you have left. So what a lot of people don't realize is in the bike industry, we use a lot of terms that aren't exactly true to the verbiage and the words that we use. So a lot of times we talk about chain stretch. These steel links on the chain, they're not really stretching, but what happens is you have pins in between all of these chain links. As you put more miles on it, they start to wear down. They don't mesh quite as well, and they are less durable the more miles you put on it. So we want to make sure that those chain links are meshing with the teeth in your cassette and your chain ring. If you replace your chain on time, you're going to save the wear and tear on the rest of your bikes, and it might be a $40 to $80 replacement depending on quality of chain you want to use, but it's a lot cheaper than having to replace the chain and your chain ring and your cassette all the time. So make sure you check your chain, swing on by if you don't know how. We're happy to do it for you, or we can teach you how. Next thing we'll go over is when you're out there on the trail, something goes awry and you do break a chain. How do you take care of that? So first thing you're going to need is a chain breaker. We've got the shop style chain breaker like this guy from KMC. Very handy, bigger handles. You have a lot more leverage, easier to use, but that's also pretty big. I don't want to have this around in my hip pack or in my camelback. Just a little clunkier, a little heavier than I want to carry around. So I'm going to use something similar to the mini chain tool that KMC has here. What I like about this guy is it still gives you a fair bit of leverage to work. So you're not sitting there trying to push out a pin of a chain with a handle that's an inch or two long. Everything kind of pulls apart and collapses, making it very handy. So you have the little handle here that just threads on. This blue end with your pin unthreads. Chain will slot in there, so you'll take it right to the link, right past the one that's broken. You'll start threading this guy in. Once it starts making contact, they give you a little 5mm Allen key right here. If you don't want to carry this extra piece around and you do have a multi-tool, you can use that instead. But we're going to sit there, hold it, spin that in until that little pin in the middle pushes the broken link apart, and we're ready to use our missing link. So this next piece, this is something that everyone should have in their riding bag. You don't necessarily need two, but at least one. What this is going to be, this is a quick insert or quick release link that will replace the stationary links on your chain. So that piece that breaks, it's almost always the outer link on your chain. So we need to replace an outer link. So we'll have that. We've got a couple other things here. KMC makes this chain aid tire lever. It's kind of a bunch of tools all in one. But what's sweet is you can actually stash that missing link right there in your tire lever, which you might need to use, as well as a number of other features, tools. Does a whole bunch of stuff that's really cool. So we'll push that pin in or pin out. We'll take our missing link over here, and you'll be able to see it's got both sides of it. They're offset. They slide right into each other right here. And then you can either hold the brake, pedal forward and clip it into place, or we can use KMC's missing link lever. Also doubles as a tire lever if you need that, but turns into these sweet little quick link pliers. So we can come over here, spin it around until we find that quick link on our chain, which in this case is right here. These pliers will go right into the middle here, squeeze them together, it pops off. Or if we just replace the link, these missing link pieces will come together. Push them in. Then I will spin that till the missing link is right up here up top. I'll pull the brake, step forward, you'll hear it click into place, and everything's hunky-dory, ready to go. Over here, KMC has their chain aid tool. Couple things that are really neat about this. One, it's got this spot right here where you can stash your missing links. It holds them actually pretty securely. They're not going anywhere until you need them. And then when it comes time to replace the chain, these little grooves right here are designed so it will actually hold the slack in your chain while you work on it. It's kind of annoying having that tension in there pulling against you. Once you pop that link free, everything goes flying. And if you're out on the trail and not on a nice concrete patio, you might not find your pieces again. So just another clever feature of this chain aid tool. Really sweet. The other one I love, like I said, these KMC missing link levers. Really cool. They fold together or hold together really nice in your pack. They're a tire lever for when you need to swap out your tire, replace your tube. But then they also come together right here in our tire link pliers. So we can take our chain aid. I'm going to spin the bike around till I find that missing link, which happens to be right here. I'm going to slot that in, give myself a little bit of space to work. Here's my missing link. I'm going to slot that in. So we're going to grab that, give ourselves a little bit of slack so we can work here. Slot these inner teeth right around that missing link. Squeeze, it'll pop off. We're ready to go. We're going to imagine that that was our broken link, or if it was twisted, bent, we can remove it right there. We'll take our new missing links going in opposite directions. Slotting them in. We'll remove the chain aid tool. I'm going to rotate that missing link until it's right at the top. Pull my brake, step on the pedal. You'll hear a little pop while it slots into place, and you're ready to keep riding. So, again, number of ways to take care of all these different things that could potentially have you walking back to your car. We want to ride our bikes. So, come take a look. If you have any questions about how to use any of these tools, or you want any other tips on what to do while you're stranded out there mountain biking, come talk to any member of our team. We've got tons of ideas. I've got myself and friends out of all sorts of sticky situations, using everything from goo wrappers to replace patch kits, stuffing tires full of grass and leaves to replace a tube that one of my buddies didn't have, and we have different size wheels on our bike, so I couldn't help him there. As well as I've used elastic hair bands to hold shifters onto bikes, all sorts of crazy stuff. But get creative, do what you need to ride back to your car, because no one likes hiking in bike shoes. Thanks, and we'll talk to you guys later. Test. Bueno.